All right, we're going to jump to a little bit of sports. We always have a fun time, you and I especially, because I know where your areas of sports that you might like and maybe not so much. So I'm going to find out myself today on one of these items on you, which is college football. So the two big things are this, the signings. Now, nobody knows much about that. There really isn't a lot of information to know about that, other than the fact that it's almost sort of the same old. Who had the best signing days yesterday for these athletes that are going to be playing in 2025? And they're unbelievable, Mark, and you're just looking at them going, whoa. Well, you've got Oregon, you've got Ohio State, you've got Bama, you've got Texas. The usual suspects are kind of at the top. There's a few mixed in there, though. The University of Minnesota, my alma mater, actually did pretty well. They're in the top 40, but not top 4. But they did really well, and they've done something that they didn't used to be able to do. They're keeping the Minnesota athletes in the state of Minnesota, which makes it kind of fun for me. And I think some of those players, matter of fact, we have a freshman All-American who actually is up for the best safety in football this year. So there are some good athletes here, believe it or not. We've got 4 of the last 4 football players of the year are actually on campus with us at the University of Minnesota. So we're pretty excited about that. If the 2025 guy who signed actually comes. Things can change between here and then. I'll tell you what, the portal is wide open, Mark. That's what makes it kind of fun. You've got all this free agency. Is there a college that you say, you know what, I really do care about this? This one I'm passionate about. Is there any college sports, football particularly, where you say, you know what, I'm a Penn State guy or I'm a Maryland guy or whatever? Is there anything like that for you?
I mean, Clemson's fun to watch. Bama's fun to watch. I have a question for you, though, Pete. What was it like before the portal on signing day? Was covering this, reporting it, talking about it, you were getting the information differently, I would imagine?
Yeah, it's totally different. This is the NFL now. It truly is. As a matter of fact, Mark, as we've talked about, there are more and more and more. Now, they started back, believe it or not, 2017, but there's a general manager role in college football or college sports. Each school is different how they want to do it. College football, the reason most of them just stick with that is that's the money generator, right?
Yeah.
So you've got a general manager who has to go around the country and figure out how much money on the NIL can I spend on this one guy. And I'll give you a great example. There's 3 quarterbacks that are in the portal right now that jumped in there just yesterday. Miller Moss from USC. All year, everybody loved him until they didn't. And now he's jumping in the portal because he got benched late in the year. Jackson Arnold down at Oklahoma, same thing. Justin Martin at UCLA. These guys are 4- and 5-star quarterbacks that were there for 1 year only, and now they're actually in search of a new home. So It's free agency. That's all it really is. The portal means, you know what? If the University of Minnesota has the money and they want to try to grab any of those 3 quarterbacks, because ours is graduating. He's been his 6th year. He's already done. So it's one of those things that maybe they pick him up. Who knows? It could get pretty interesting, but it is a jailbreak to get on that portal right now. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, the other day, Mark, there was over 50 just in a single day. And I think after yesterday, I think that number is growing at a pretty rapid rate, and it will continue over the next couple of weeks.
Unreal. Fun to watch.
Yeah, fun to watch. All right. So I'm giving you some choices on, speaking of fun to watch. What do you think about this? You've got the Big 10, you've got the Big 12, you've got the SEC, you got the Mountain West, you got the ACC. Those are your big power conferences, right? And they have their championship games coming. Is there any that you look forward to or you think is probably the best one? Most people are going to say Georgia, Texas.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Penn State and Oregon, because Penn State, I don't think they're as good as they think they are. They have only 1 loss, so you got to give them that. And it's interesting. I stood on the sidelines, had a little bit of back and forth with those guys at Penn State. Boy, they're cocky. But anyway, I will say, and they beat us by 1 point, and they were still cocky. So anyway, but that one I think is interesting because Oregon is the only school that is undefeated sitting up there at the top, right? First year in the Big 10, coming from the Pac-12. It makes it a pretty fun game, I think, because it's their first year and they absolutely dominated. They had some close games, but they won them. So what stands out for you? Anything where you say that's the one?
Not to continue on the Clemson theme, Pete, but the Clemson SMU matchup, I think, also has got some must-watch college football this weekend. Not that I think that we're going to be able to see any of it, because you and I are going to be floating somewhere out in the Caribbean with John and our friends at Cardone.
We might have big TVs set up out there. There's probably like a little sports bar by the pool or something like that we might be able to finagle them to put a sports game on. That would be kind of fun to watch. I got one last thing I want to throw in there that you're going to love. So long ago, when John was finishing college, he finished off at a Division III school where he and my brother Dave were the two inside linebackers together, right? The two Nigerian brothers. These two guys belonged in Division I, but they decided to play Division III just for a variety of reasons, right? So anyway, they were really good. And when I say really good, they didn't belong at that level. And there's a quarterback in their same division this year who, Mark, the kid's thrown 46 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and he's 76% completion at St. John's University, where they are the home of one very impressive thing. Their coach, who's now dead, but their coach of the past is the winningest football coach in the history of all of college football at any level. First, Division I, II, III, all of it. He has the greatest record of anybody, the most wins of any coach at St. John's University. They're almost every single year very close to the finals, and they're playing for it. Do you think that they should start putting these guys on TV, Division III? I think they should. I did a Division III TV game for ESPN years ago, and it was phenomenal. It was I'll never forget. It was it was the Baylor school that used to be all girls, because Baylor, believe it or not, so Mary Hardin Baylor was the name of the school, Division III. It was awesome. But should they put these guys on TV, or wouldn't you watch a Division III game?
So I don't even think it's a question of my opinion, Pete. I think it's going to happen, right? I mean, and this is the story of sports. It's the story of live sports. It's the story of the franchise values going through the roof. And it all comes down to one thing, and that's live eyeballs. It's the last bastion of broadcast television that you can guarantee people will be watching at a certain time to see something live. Even live news, people I can catch it now, or I get it on Twitter, blah, 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 blah. And so because of that, my expectation is that the appetite for more of that content is only going to continue to grow, and it's not going to come initially from arena soccer, right? It's going to come from the secondary and tertiary leagues and things that are already out there and in the sports world that people are familiar with, but are just not getting any broadcast love. So I would be very surprised to see if we didn't see that kind of coverage and see those games on TV, and I think it would be a great thing.
Yeah, that really would be awesome. Well,